You can take a break. We don't want people to go without without food and water for too long a period. But yeah, people have always been into the game, and it's exciting to see how much people are excited about the game. Well, it's the 25th anniversary of Civ, so it's been around for a while. Some of the new things that we've done in Civ 6, one of the biggest things is we've unstacked the cities. Similar to Civ 5 when we unstacked the units, now the cities they occupy more hexes on the screen now. It brings up some interesting decisions in the gameplay because these districts now have to be, and they get benefits from being in certain places on the map. So as you explore the map, you're picking out locations where these districts are going to make sense. With Civ 4 and Civ 5, your city center was just limited to one hex. You had your improvements outside, but we felt we were missing an opportunity to really, bring the player into like their exploration and make that more important. So now when you're looking around the map, you're looking at great places to put your cities, and it's more than just your city center. Wonders and districts sometimes have to be next to each other. That they have certain requirements, and like a commercial district is good on the rivers, and you have some wonders that need to be by the commercial district. So it's a little bit more interesting in trying to maneuver how your cities are going to expand. Another thing we've done is we have the active research system, which basically the environment and your surroundings and actions kind of dictate the way you're going to go through the tech and the civics tree. So now if you found a city on the coast, then you're going to have a shorter path to sailing. It makes sense as opposed to somebody that's landlocked, that they wouldn't have as much access to that kind of technology. I mentioned that we have a civics tree now, so we pulled out a lot of the civics type stuff that was in Civ 5 and gave it its own tree. So there's a lot more things to research now, and all these the active research system, when you do these little mini missions, that everyone has a special action you can do to increase the time, just like sailing. I don't mean to make it sound like it's overcomplicated. It's just there's more things to choose from. And when you get through the civics tree, you get these policies. And the policies are dynamic now. So instead of like Civ 5 where you had the social policies, now you have a card system that you can mix different policies in and out as you go through the game. There's certain games or certain policies that make more sense early game. Like there's one that gives you +5 towards attacking barbarians. So early on, that's great. Late game, not so much. So you want to replace that as you go through the game. Well, religion's always been a big part of history, and we wanted that to be present in our game. We try to have the span of human history as much as we can. Civ 5, Gods and Kings expansion was the first. Well, we introduced religion in there, and people they loved it, and we wanted that to be a bigger part of this game. So we've now added religious victories, which is really cool. So it's exciting because it gives the player another way to win the game, and you get to play the game how you want. So it's the religions can be whatever you want them to be. You can name your own religion, because it's a game. So you want to make it exciting for the player, and these powers that go with the religion are variable. You can change those. So it's really about you defining what you want the game to be about. Yes, it's a brand new engine from the ground up, so we have a lot more resources at our disposal. We have a brand new lighting system now. We have a lot more in-depth shaders so things feel more realistic as far as the way the spec work on there. We also, Wonders, we have in-game movies now, which is great. We looked at some of the stuff from Civ 4, and that's one of the inspirations we had. Everybody loved the Wonder movies. In Civ 5, we did a painting, and people were kind of disappointed with the fact that we didn't have those in there. So we were like, let's do it real time. Let's put it back in there. And it's exciting, and that's where we kind of came up with the time of day system too. So we needed the time of day to do a time-lapse type, time-lapse photography for the Wonders. So then we started experimenting with that. Hey, where else can we use this? So now we have that in the world. So it's an option to turn on if you want to see the sun rise and set. As continue through a looping event, you can now in the game. We've also made the world much more alive than we have in the past. One of the influences from Civ 4 is all your improvements in Civ 4 have had animations of what they're being worked or unworked. We've brought that back because the environment's a character itself. We want it to feel vibrant and alive. We want it to be inviting because you're going to be spending a lot of time in the game. We hope so. So we wanted to make it fun for the player.